Imagine walking into any room without trying to impress anyone, without seeking approval, without fearing rejection, because you already know your worth. Picture that for a moment. You walk in, people turn to look, and you feel nothing, no anxiety, no self-doubt. No need to prove anything. You are simply present, comfortable, grounded. The most confident people in the world are not the loudest, they are not the richest, they are not the most attractive, they are not the most successful. They are simply the ones who stopped asking the world for permission. They stopped waiting for someone else to validate their existence. They stopped needing external approval to feel okay about themselves. And that is what we're going to explore today. / What if confidence is not something you're born with, but something you build, one difficult decision at a time, where the fear you feel, the anxiety, the self-doubt is not a permanent part of who you are, but a learned response that can be unlearned, where the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to become dangerous. Not dangerous to others, dangerous to the version of yourself that plays small, that hides, that settles. That is the kind of confidence we are talking about, the kind that makes you dangerous to mediocrity, to fear, to the limiting beliefs that have held you back your entire life. / Introduction. The confidence crisis. Let's talk about something that most people never admit. Most people are faking it. They walk around with a mask of confidence, but inside, they are terrified. They are afraid of being judged, afraid of being rejected, afraid of being exposed as frauds. This is a confidence crisis, and it is everywhere. It is in the boardroom where the executive stays silent because they're afraid of sounding stupid. It is in the classroom where the student does not raise their hand because they are afraid of being wrong. It is in the bar where the person does not approach someone they are attracted to because they are afraid of being rejected. It is in the mirror where you look at yourself and think, I am not good enough. / The research is staggering. Studies show that up to 85% of people struggle with self-confidence. 85%. That means almost everyone you know, everyone you see, everyone you admire has moments of deep insecurity. The difference is not whether you feel insecure. The difference is how you respond to it. Some people let their insecurity control them. They hide, they stay silent, they play small. Others acknowledge their insecurity and they act anyway. They feel the fear and they do it anyway. And that is the definition of confidence. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in the presence of it. / Confidence is not about being perfect. It is not about never making mistakes. It is not about always knowing what to say. Confidence is about trusting yourself, trusting that you will figure it out, trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. It is about knowing that even if you fail, you will be okay, because you are not defined by your failures. You are defined by how you respond to them. Chapter 1. The hidden psychology of confidence. Confidence begins in the mind. It is not about how you look. It is not about how much money you have. It is not about your job title. Confidence is about your internal narrative, the story you tell yourself about who you are, what you are capable of, and what you deserve. Most people have a negative internal narrative. They tell themselves that they are not good enough, that they are not smart enough, that they are not attractive enough, that they are not worthy of success. This narrative was not created in a vacuum. It was created through years of conditioning, through childhood experiences, through messages from parents, teachers, peers, society. And if you do not consciously rewrite this narrative, it will control your entire life. / Here is something that might surprise you. Your brain does not know the difference between what is real and what you imagine when you imagine failing. Your brain releases stress hormones, just as if you were actually failing. When you imagine being rejected, your brain feels rejection, just as if you were actually being rejected. When you imagine success, your brain releases dopamine, just as if you were actually succeeding. This is why visualization works, and it is also why negative thinking is so destructive. Your brain is constantly being programmed by your thoughts, and the programming becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you are confident, you will act confidently, and people will treat you confidently. If you believe you are insecure, you will act insecure, and people will treat you insecurely. It is a loop, and you can use it to your advantage. // There is a concept in psychology called the self-fulfilling prophecy. It is the idea that what you believe about yourself becomes true. If you believe you're going to fail at a job interview, you will be nervous, you will perform poorly, and you will fail. If you believe you're going to succeed, you'll be calm, you will perform well, and you will succeed. Your beliefs create your reality, whether you like it or not. This is why confidence is not just about feeling good, it is about creating a better outcome. The confident person does not just feel better, they do better. // Chapter 2. Why most people feel insecure. Let's look at why most people feel insecure. The answer starts in childhood. As children, we are completely dependent on our parents for survival. We need their love, their approval, their protection, and we quickly learn that to get these things, we must behave in certain ways. We must be good. We must be quiet. We must be obedient. We must not make mistakes. This is how the approval addiction begins. We learn to seek validation from others because our survival depended on it. And as we grow up, we carry this pattern into our adult lives. We still seek approval. We still need validation. We still believe that we must be perfect to be loved. But here's the problem. We are no longer dependent on our parents for survival. We are adults. We can meet our own needs. But the pattern is so deeply ingrained that we never question it. We continue to seek approval from bosses, colleagues, friends, partners, strangers, and this seeking is the source of our insecurity, because when you need approval from others, you are giving away your power. You are saying, I cannot trust myself. I need you to tell me that I am okay. And as long as you need this external validation, you will never feel truly confident. // There's another reason most people feel insecure: comparison. We live in a world where we are constantly comparing ourselves to others. Social media makes it worse. You see the highlight reels of other people's lives, and you compare them to your behind the scenes. You see people who are more successful, more attractive, more popular, and you feel inadequate. But here is what you need to understand. Comparison is a trap. It is not a reflection of reality. It is a reflection of your insecurities. When you compare yourself to others, you are measuring your insides against their outsides. You are comparing your worst moments against their best moments, and this is a game you will never win. // The solution is not to stop comparing. The solution is to stop caring about the comparison. You must develop an internal metric for your self-worth. You must stop asking, how do I compare to others? And start asking, am I becoming the person I want to be? Am I better than I was yesterday? Am I moving toward my goals? These are the questions that matter, not how you compare to someone else. Chapter 3. The approval addiction trap. There's a term for the need to seek approval from others. It is called external validation, and it is one of the biggest obstacles to confidence. When you need external validation, you are dependent on others for your self-worth. You need people to like you, approve of you, praise you, in order to feel good about yourself. This is a trap because you cannot control other people. You cannot control what they think, what they say, or what they do. When your self-worth depends on what others think, you are giving away your power, and you will spend your life desperately seeking approval from people who may never give it to you. // The confident person has internal validation. They do not need others to approve of them. They approve of themselves. They know who they are, what they stand for, what they are capable of, and they do not need anyone else to confirm it. This is the difference between confidence and insecurity. Insecurity asks, do you approve of me? Confidence says, I approve of myself, whether you do or not. The approval addiction is one of the hardest patterns to break because it is so deeply ingrained, but it is absolutely essential to break it if you want to become confident. // Let me give you an exercise. The next time you feel the urge to seek approval, pause. Ask yourself, why do I need this? Do you need their approval to survive? Probably not. Do you need their approval to be okay? No, you're already okay. You have always been okay. You do not need their approval. You just want it. And there's a difference between needing something and wanting something. When you want something, you can live without it. When you need something, you are dependent on it. Work on moving from needing approval to just wanting it. It is a small shift, but it changes everything. // Chapter 4. How fear controls your life. Fear is the opposite of confidence. Fear controls your decisions, your behavior, your life, and most people are controlled by fear without even realizing it. They do not pursue their dreams because they are afraid of failing. They do not speak up because they are afraid of being judged. They do not take risks because they are afraid of losing. They do not approach people because they are afraid of rejection. Fear is the invisible force that keeps people small. And if you want to become confident, you must confront your fear. // There is a psychological concept called the fear response. It is a biological reaction that is designed to protect you from danger. When you perceive a threat, your brain releases stress hormones. Your heart races, your breathing quickens, your muscles tense. This is useful if you're facing a bear. It is not useful if you're giving a presentation. But your brain does not know the difference. It treats a social threat the same way it treats a physical threat. So when you are about to speak in public, your brain reacts as if you are about to be attacked. And that reaction is what we call stage fright. // But here's the thing about fear. It is not based on reality. It is based on perception. You are not actually in danger when you speak in public. You are not actually going to die if you get rejected. You are not actually going to lose everything if you fail. Your brain is overreacting. And once you understand this, you can begin to control your fear. You can tell yourself, I am not in danger. This is just my brain overreacting. I am going to do it anyway. This is the key to confidence. Acknowledging the fear and acting anyway. // The most confident people in the world are not fearless. They are afraid, just like everyone else. The difference is they do not let fear make the decision. They feel the fear, and they do it anyway. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in the presence of fear. This is the definition of confidence. Chapter 5. Building unshakable self-worth. Self-worth is a foundation of confidence. Without self-worth, confidence is an illusion. It is like building a house on sand. You might look confident, but the moment something goes wrong, you will crumble. True confidence comes from deep self-worth. It comes from knowing that you are valuable, not because of what you do or what you have, but because of who you are. This is a hard concept for many people because we have been conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to our achievements. We believe that we must earn our worth. We must get good grades, get a good job, make money, be successful. And if we do not achieve these things, we are worthless. // This is a lie. Your worth is not something you earn. It is something you are born with. You are inherently valuable. Simply because you exist, this does not mean you should not strive to achieve. It means your achievements do not define your worth. You are worthy of love, respect, and success regardless of what you achieve. And when you believe this, you are free. You are free to fail because failure does not change your worth. You are free to take risks because the outcome does not change your worth. You are free to be yourself because your worth is not on the line. // This is the freedom that confident people experience. They are not trying to prove anything. They do not need to prove their worth because they already know it. They are not seeking validation because they already have it. They are not afraid of failure because failure does not change who they are. This is unshakable self-worth, and it is the foundation of true confidence. // Chapter 6. The body language of powerful people. Confidence is not just internal, it is external. How you carry yourself, how you move, how you hold your body communicates your level of confidence to the world. And here is the important part. It also communicates your level of confidence to yourself. There is a concept in psychology called embodied cognition. It is the idea that your body influences your mind just as much as your mind influences your body. When you stand tall, your brain releases testosterone, the confidence hormone. When you slouch, your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Your posture literally changes your biochemistry. The confident person knows this. They stand tall, they make eye contact, they speak clearly, they take up space, they do not apologize for existing. // Let me give you some specific body language techniques. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools you have. When you make eye contact, you're showing that you are present, engaged, and unafraid. It signals that you are confident, not submissive. Start practicing eye contact today. When you talk to someone, look them in the eyes, not aggressively, but confidently. If you struggle with eye contact, start small. Hold eye contact for a few seconds longer than you normally would. Then build up. Posture is another powerful tool. Stand up straight, shoulders back, chest open. This is the posture of power. Practice in the mirror. Practice it when you walk down the street. Notice how different you feel when you walk with confidence. Your whole energy changes, and other people notice. They treat you differently. They respect you more. They listen to you more. // Voice is also important. Confident people speak clearly. They use a strong voice. They do not mumble. They do not speak too fast. They speak with authority. Practice speaking more slowly. Practice speaking at a volume that commands attention. This is not about being loud. It is about being clear. Your voice is a tool, and when you use it properly, people will listen. // Chapter 7. How confident people think. Let's look at how confident people think. First, confident people focus on what they can control and ignore what they cannot. They do not waste energy worrying about things outside their control. They focus on their actions, their decisions, their behavior. Second, confident people embrace failure. They understand that failure is part of success. They do not let failure define them. They see it as feedback, as a lesson, as an opportunity to grow. Third, confident people take responsibility. They do not blame others. They do not make excuses. They take ownership of their life. Fourth, confident people are self-aware. They know their strengths and their weaknesses. They do not try to be perfect. They are comfortable with their imperfections. Fifth, confident people are not threatened by other success. They celebrate it. They learn from it. They use it as inspiration. They understand that someone else's success does not diminish their own. // These are the thinking patterns of confident people, and you can adopt them. It is not about changing who you are. It is about changing how you think. Your thoughts create your reality. And when you think like a confident person, you become a confident person. // Chapter 8. Mastering emotional control. Emotions can be your greatest ally or your greatest enemy. When you are confident, you are not ruled by your emotions. You are in control of them. You can feel fear and act anyway. You can feel anger and remain calm. You can feel hurt and still be compassionate. This is emotional mastery, and it is a key component of confidence. // The first step to emotional mastery is awareness. You need to notice your emotions before they control you. When you start to feel fear, notice it, name it. This is fear. When you start to feel anger, notice it, name it. This is anger. Just noticing your emotions gives you control over them, because once you have named an emotion, you are no longer controlled by it. The second step is acceptance. Accept your emotions. Do not fight them. Do not judge them. They are not bad. They are just information. Fear is telling you that there is something you care about. Anger is telling you that a boundary has been crossed. Sadness is telling you that you have lost something. Listen to your emotions, but do not let them make the decision. The third step is response. Choose how you respond to your emotions. You can act on fear, or you can act despite fear. You can act on anger, or you can act despite anger. The choice is yours. And confident people choose wisely. // Chapter 9. Speaking with authority. Your voice is one of your most powerful tools, and how you speak directly affects how people perceive your confidence. Confident people speak with authority. They do not use filler words like, They speak clearly. They speak deliberately. They speak with conviction. They make eye contact. They use confident body language. They project their voice. And when they speak, people listen, //. Here's how to speak with authority. First, slow down. Most people speak too fast. When they're nervous, slowing down gives you time to think, and it makes you sound more confident. Second, project your voice. Speak from your chest, not your throat. Your voice should fill the room, but not be overwhelming. Third, eliminate filler words. Pause instead of saying, take a breath instead of saying silence is more powerful than filler words. Fourth, commit to your words. Do not say I think or I believe, or maybe say I know or I am confident, or this is speak with certainty. This is the power of authority. //. Practice these techniques. Record yourself speaking. Listen to the recording and notice where you can improve. Practice in front of a mirror. Practice with friends. The more you practice, the more natural it will become, and the more confident you will sound. Chapter 10, The Power of Silence. Silence is one of the most underrated tools of confidence. Most people are afraid of silence. They fill every moment with chatter. They try to avoid the discomfort of silence at all costs. But confident people are comfortable with silence. They understand that silence is powerful. It creates space. It commands attention. It allows you to think. When you are comfortable with silence, you are comfortable with yourself. You do not need to fill the space with noise. You do not need to prove that you are interesting. You are enough just by being present. //. There are several ways to use silence. In conversation, use silence after someone speaks. It gives you time to think, and it encourages the other person to elaborate. In negotiation, use silence to create pressure. The person who breaks the silence is the person who is most uncomfortable. In public speaking, use silence to punctuate your points. A pause after a key statement. Give the audience time to absorb it. Silence is not weakness. It is power, and confident people know how to use it. //. Let me give you a challenge. The next time you are in a conversation, practice using silence after the other person speaks. Pause for a few seconds before responding. Notice how it changes the dynamic. You will feel more in control, and the other person will perceive you as more confident. This is a small change, but it can have a massive impact. Chapter 11, How to Handle Criticism. Criticism is one of the greatest threats to confidence. When someone criticizes you, it hurts. It makes you feel attacked, defensive, insecure. But confident people handle criticism differently. They do not take it personally. They do not let it define them. They use it as feedback, and they move on. //. There are two types of criticism: constructive and destructive. Constructive criticism is intended to help you. Destructive criticism is intended to hurt you. The key is to distinguish between the two and respond appropriately. When you receive constructive criticism, listen to it. Consider the source. Is the person credible? Do they have your best interests at heart? If so, take the feedback, learn from it, and improve. When you receive destructive criticism, ignore it. The person who criticizes destructively is not trying to help you. They are projecting their own insecurities. Do not take it personally. It says more about them than it does about you. //. Confident people understand this. They know that criticism is a reflection of the criticizer, not the criticized. They do not let criticism define them. They use it as information, and they move on. This is a powerful skill, and it is essential for confidence. Chapter 12, How to Stop Overthinking. Overthinking is the enemy of confidence. When you overthink, you get stuck in your head. You analyze every possible outcome. You worry about every mistake. You second-guess every decision, and the more you overthink, the less confidence you have, because overthinking is really just fear. Fear of making the wrong decision. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment, and the solution is not to think more. It is to act. Confident people do not overthink. They gather the necessary information. They make a decision, and they move on. They trust themselves, and they trust their ability to handle whatever comes next. //. Here is a simple way to stop overthinking. Set a deadline for your decision. Give yourself a specific amount of time to think, and then commit to a decision. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be made. Action is the antidote to overthinking. Once you act, the overthinking stops. You are no longer stuck in analysis paralysis. You are moving forward, and movement is the enemy of fear. // There is a concept in psychology called the 70% rule. It is the idea that if you have 70% of the information you need, you should act. Do not wait until you have 100%, because you will never have 100%. The world is uncertain, and confident people embrace that uncertainty. They take action, they adapt, they keep moving. This is the difference between confident people and insecure people. Confident people act. Insecure people wait. Chapter 13, Developing an Unbreakable Mindset. There's a concept in psychology called a growth mindset. It is a belief that you can grow, learn, and change. People with a growth mindset believe that they can improve their skills, their intelligence, their abilities. They are not limited by their current state. This is the mindset of confident people. They believe they can learn anything, achieve anything, overcome anything. They do not see failure as a limit. They see it as a step toward growth. // People with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are fixed. They believe that they are either good at something or not. They avoid challenges because they are afraid of failure. They give up easily because they think they cannot improve. This mindset is the opposite of confidence. It is a mindset of limitation, and it will hold you back your entire life. The good news is that you can change your mindset. You can adopt a growth mindset. You can start believing that you are capable of more. You can start embracing challenges, learning from failure, and persisting in the face of obstacles. This is the mindset of confident people. // Neuroscience has proven that the brain is plastic, that it changes with use. When you learn something new, your brain rewires itself. When you practice a skill, the neural pathways become stronger. Your brain is constantly adapting, so there is no limit to what you can learn and achieve. It is never too late to develop a new skill, to start a new career, to become a new person. The only limits are in your mind. Chapter 14, Winning Social Situations. Social situations can be challenging for many people, especially introverts or people who struggle with social anxiety. But confidence is not about being extroverted. It is about being comfortable in your own skin, even in social situations. And there are specific techniques that can help you succeed in social settings. // First, focus on the other person. Most social anxiety comes from worrying about how you are being perceived. But if you shift your focus to the other person, the anxiety diminishes. Ask questions, listen actively, show genuine curiosity. People love to talk about themselves. And if you let them, they will think you are a great conversationalist. This is a powerful social technique. Second, have a few conversation starters prepared. Nothing fancy, just simple questions. How do you know the host? What do you do for work? What are you passionate about? Having these prepared gives you confidence. You know what to say, so you do not have to worry about it. Third, practice active listening. Do not just wait for your turn to speak. Actually listen to what the other person is saying. Ask follow-up questions. Show that you are engaged. This is the secret to great conversations. Fourth, be present. Do not worry about what to say next. Do not worry about how you look. Just be there in the moment. This is the essence of confidence. // Chapter 15, Confidence in Dating. Dating is one of the areas where confidence matters most, and it is also one of the areas where people struggle the most, because dating involves vulnerability, rejection, and judgment. But confident people navigate dating differently. First, they do not take rejection personally. They understand that rejection is not a reflection of their worth. It is just a mismatch. There are billions of people in the world, and not everyone will be a match. The confident person knows this and does not let rejection crush them. Second, they are authentic. They do not pretend to be someone they are not, just to impress someone else. They are comfortable with who they are, and they let that be enough. Third, they lead. They take the initiative. They ask people out. They express interest. They do not wait for someone else to make the first move. Fourth, they value themselves. They know what they bring to a relationship, and they do not settle for less than they deserve. They have boundaries. They have standards. They do not compromise their values. //. Dating is a numbers game, and confident people understand this. They do not get discouraged by a few rejections. They keep putting themselves out there because they know that eventually they will find someone who is a match, and that makes them even more attractive because confidence is attractive. It signals to others that you are secure, stable, and capable, and people are drawn to that. //. Chapter 16, Confidence at Work. Confidence at work is essential for career success. It is the difference between being invisible and being noticed. It is the difference between staying in the same position and being promoted. But confidence at work is not about being arrogant. It is about being competent and communicating that competence. First, speak up in meetings. If you have an idea, share it. If you have a question, ask it. Do not let fear of judgment prevent you from contributing. Second, take credit for your work. Do not be modest. Do not let others take credit for your work. You should be recognized for your contributions. Third, ask for what you want. Ask for the promotion. Ask for the raise. Ask for the project. The worst that can happen is they say no. Fourth, network. Build relationships with people in your organization and in your industry. They can open doors for you that would otherwise be closed. Fifth, be a leader. You do not need a title to be a leader. You can lead by example, by taking initiative, by helping others. People notice leaders and they follow them. //. Confidence at work is a skill and you can develop it. Start with small steps. Speak up once in a meeting. Volunteer for a project. Ask for a small raise. Each step will build on the last, and before you know it, you will be a confident leader. Chapter 17, Leadership Without Arrogance. There is a difference between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is knowing your worth. Arrogance is believing you are better than others. Confidence is attractive. Arrogance is off-putting. Confident leaders inspire others. Arrogant leaders push others away. The key is to be confident without being arrogant. First, be humble. Acknowledge your mistakes. Learn from others. Recognize that you do not know everything. Humility is a sign of strength, not weakness. Second, be generous. Share credit. Help others. Lift people up. Confident people are generous because they are not threatened by other success. Third, be approachable. Listen to others. Be open to feedback. Be easy to talk to. Arrogant people are not approachable. Confident people are. Fourth, admit when you are wrong. This is one of the most powerful things a leader can do. It shows that you are secure enough to be vulnerable, and vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength. //. True confidence is not about dominating others. It is about empowering others. True leaders do not need to prove their worth. They know their worth. And because they know their worth, they can give credit to others. They can be humble. They can admit mistakes. This is the mark of a true leader. Chapter 18, The Daily Habits of Confident People. Confidence is not a one-time thing. It is a daily practice. It is the accumulation of small habits that build over time. First, morning routine. Confident people often have a morning routine. Exercise, meditation, reading, journaling. These practices set them up for a successful day. Second, positive self-talk. Confident people talk to themselves differently. They are kind to themselves. They encourage themselves. They believe in themselves. They do not criticize themselves. They support themselves. Third, continuing education. Confident people never stop learning. They read books. They take courses. They seek out mentors. They're always growing, always improving. Fourth, healthy habits. They exercise, they eat well, they sleep well, they take care of their bodies and their minds. Fifth, goal setting. They set goals, they work toward them, they achieve them, and each success builds more confidence. //. These habits are not difficult, but they are consistent, and it is the consistency that creates confidence. Small actions, repeated daily, produce massive results. The habits of confident people are available to you. You just have to choose to adopt them. Chapter 19, The Science of Self-Belief. There's a scientific basis for self-belief. Your brain is wired to believe what you tell it. When you tell yourself you are capable, your brain believes it, and it works to make it true. When you tell yourself you are not capable, your brain believes it, and it works to make it true. This is the neuroscience of confidence. It starts with your thoughts, which become your beliefs, which become your actions, which become your results. The cycle works in both directions. If you want to be confident, you must first believe that you can be confident. This is why affirmations work. This is why visualization works. Because your brain does not know the difference between what is real and what you imagine. When you visualize success, your brain creates neural pathways that support success. When you affirm your confidence, your brain creates a belief, which creates a reality, //. There's a concept called neuroplasticity. It is the brain's ability to rewire itself. Your brain is not fixed. It is constantly changing. Every thought you have, every action you take, rewires your brain. This means you can literally change the structure of your brain through practice. You can build confidence by practicing confidence. Each time you act confidently, you reinforce the neural pathways. Each time you overcome fear, you weaken the fear pathways. This is the science of self-belief, and it is the foundation of confidence. // Chapter 20. Becoming dangerously confident. So, how do you become dangerously confident? Dangerously confident means you do not care what other people think. You are not afraid to fail. You are not afraid to be judged. You are not afraid to be yourself. You trust yourself completely. You believe in your abilities. You take risks that others avoid. You pursue the life you want, regardless of what anyone says. This is dangerous confidence, because it makes you dangerous to the status quo, dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to the voices that tell you to play small. But it also makes you dangerous to yourself if you let it become arrogance. The key is balance. Be confident, but stay humble. Be ambitious, but stay grounded. Be powerful, but stay kind. // Here is how to become dangerously confident. First, take responsibility. Stop blaming others. Stop making excuses. Take full responsibility for your life, your happiness, your success. Second, face your fears. Identify what scares you and do it anyway. Start small and build up. Each time you face a fear, you build confidence. Third, develop a growth mindset. Believe you can improve. Believe you can learn. Believe you can change. The only limits are the ones you accept. Fourth, stop comparing yourself to others. Your journey is unique, and it is not a competition. Focus on yourself and your goals. Fifth, be authentic. Stop pretending to be someone you are not. The world does not need another copy. It needs the original you. Six, practice confidence every day. Confidence is a muscle, and it needs to be exercised. Speak up. Take risks. Put yourself out there. The more you practice, the stronger you become. // Ending. Your real life begins now. Confidence is not something you're born with. It is something you build, one difficult decision at a time. Every time you say yes to something that scares you, you build confidence. Every time you take a risk, you build confidence. Every time you choose to be yourself, instead of who others want you to be, you build confidence. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes courage, but it is possible. You can become dangerously confident, not because you are better than anyone else, but because you are done pretending to be less than you are. // The day you stop asking for permission is the day your real life begins. No more waiting for someone to tell you that you are enough. No more seeking approval from people who do not matter. No more hiding from the fear that holds you back. Your real life begins when you decide that you are enough. When you decide that you do not need permission. When you decide that you are going to live your life on your terms. And that decision is made by you and only you. // So ask yourself, what would you do if you were not afraid? What would you say? If you were not worried about judgment, what would you become? If you truly believed in yourself, These are the questions that will lead you to dangerous confidence, and the answers are waiting for you // Go. Become dangerously confident. Your real life is waiting. Now is the time to live it. // Thank you for listening. If this audiobook changed the way you think about confidence, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more lessons on mindset, psychology, and personal growth. And remember, the only permission you need